G'day, it's Jason from JG Training Knives. Had a couple of people asking about my Eskrima training dummy that I made. You might see popping up on the Facebook page now and again. It's a pretty straightforward design, just made out of a few old tyres and a couple of bits of treated pine. So I'm going to make one for a Eskrima instructor of mine. It's a Prezi. Don't tell him, because obviously it's a secret. So what I'm going to use is a treated pine fence post. This one's 100mm by 75mm. They cost about 10 or 11 bucks. A treated pine sleeper. You can use 100 by 100mm, give you more of a square look. They're a bit more expensive. A couple of old tyres. You can just pick them up from the local tyre shop or just give them away. Not the easiest thing there to cut though. Okay, so now we need to cut the tyre. There's probably a heap of ways of doing this. I've tried a jigsaw, I've tried an angle grinder. I think one of the best ways that I've found is just using a steak knife, an old serrated steak knife. Just have to be very careful when you're doing this, obviously wear gloves. There's a metal strip around the inside of these tyres and obviously a metal mesh around the front. So you've just got to find a point, jam the knife in, and then work your way around. So once you've cut through on both sides, try and get as close as possible to the very edge of the tyre. Don't leave too much of this on for reasons that will become apparent later on. So you'll end up with the front of the two sides of the tyre and the tread. You'll see on the tyre that this is where the mesh will start to begin, the metal mesh. That's what we're going to cut through next. Okay? Now there's probably a lot of easier ways to do this. I find the easiest way I found is just to use a hacksaw blade, bung it in a vise, and just start hacking away at it. Once you hit the metal inside, the tyre thread, that's when it's going to become a little bit more difficult. Okay. So initially it'll be quite difficult. You'll see in here there's the metal strips. These are quite sharp, so make sure you're wearing gloves. But I find as you get further into it, you can pull it further apart. It's a lot easier. The more pressure you put on it, the easier it is. Not exactly straight, but it'll do for now. So once you've cut those, I've gone off the same measurements of my training dummy. So for the head, it's roughly 65, 66 centimetres in length. As I said before, you need to cut as close as possible up along the edge of the tread, because when it turns, you're going to get a nice, edge on it. If you've left too much there, it'll crease up. So nice and close. So this is the head section. These are the two shoulder sections. They are roughly about 53, 54 centimetres in length. Piece of wood I've cut to 170 centimetres. That'll allow for 5 centimetres on the base, which will give you about 175 centimetre tall training dummy. That can obviously be modified to suit your needs. As you can see on the back of mine, I fixed it in with some old roofing screws. It looks pretty good, but it's just a little bit more time consuming. So, you know, you can just use normal screws like I have down there, which I think that's what I'm going to use on this new one. So at the top end of the post I've screwed on just another little bit of treated pine. It'll just fill out the head and chest area a little bit better. You see that when we put the head and shoulders on, which we're ready to start doing now. Alright, now there's probably a couple of ways you can do this. You can stand it up and put it together first. I find it's easier to remain in control of it if it's actually down on the ground. But then that gives you dramas when you're putting the base on, so it's six of one, half a dozen of the other. So I've bolted this, I've screwed it on the back. Just going to twist it around. And line it up here. And basically it's just a case of screwing it on. Screws they've got lying around. Essentially, there's your head. We'll just get that in position in a second. So at this stage I've fixed on the shoulder sections. Place them wherever you want. Around the shoulder area is always good, I suppose. And I've just got some offcuts, placed them around the neck, created a little sort of fancy look there by basically just using the old steak knife, cut off a couple of the bits of the side wall. And they're just screwed on, so it's starting to come together. Now I just need to do the chest section. So I've cut out 3 more sections. The larger one there is about 84 centimetres, I think, and that's to do the chest area. And then these two are roughly about 56 centimetres long, and they're to do the rest of the body. You can make one of them a bit longer if you've got enough tyre to do it with, just to give the sort of the body a more tapered look. But as you can see on mine, they're both the same size down the bottom. I'd like the middle one to be a little bit bigger, but it means chopping up another tyre, and that really sucks. So he's staying the way he is. But this one, we'll see how this one goes. Got the chest section on now. I've just screwed on another couple of little offcuts there, just to make it look a bit sort of cool. I had to use a couple of longer screws there just to pin it straight through, but looking alright. So now we'll get on with the rest of it. Okay, so I've got the 2 bottom sections on now. So all we've got to do now really is just tidy up the back a bit. So I've just screwed it in all the way along. Just going to put some little fancy bits on the back just to make it look a bit flash. And that's the body pretty much done. So that's the bulk of the body done. Obviously you can make it as long as you want. Put a couple of extra little bits on the back just to cover up the wood and just make it look a little bit cooler. So that's the end for this video. The next video will show you how to make the base for it. And this will give you something to do for the time being. Alright, thanks for watching.